Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to play Happy Trails. Happy Trails was a request for a couple of people, for Dan and for Kevin, and I have to admit I'd never heard this song until I looked at it recently for this video, and it has now become my constant companion. I sing it and hum it wherever I go. So if you are at danger from earworms, I suggest you don't watch this video. It is such a catchy tune. This is a song particularly used for the end of sessions, when you've been sitting around a campfire for 3 hours, you've drunk far too much and you've played 100 tunes. This is the 101st and it's time to go to bed. This was recorded by Roy Rogers and his wife Dale Evans, and it was written by Dale Evans. They used it as the theme song of their TV and radio shows in the 40s and 50s. I'm going to give you two versions, one a very simple version and another one a more complex version with the double stops which add to the which allow you to hear the chords properly and make it actually potentially a contest tune, because it's quite tricky and really nice to listen to. Okay, so we start off with a little guitar riff, and depending on who you're playing with this with, you may or may not get that riff from someone else. Very simple, well worth knowing, because you can start almost any cowboy song with this. If you want a slightly more complex version of that, so we're just going, and the rocking along with. Something like that. Okay, so you may want to play that at the beginning. And then the simple version goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Now I did quite a lot of third position stuff there, which is not strictly necessary, but because you want this to be sweet and smooth, if you can do third position on those long notes, then you'll get a much better vibrato and a better sound, rather than that, as opposed to that kind of thing. We got a few tricky fingering bits. Now here, you put your second finger down along with your first finger. Keep your first on, put your third on. First on again. So, first finger staying on all the way through to anchor that. Now here, keep your first finger on the bottom string on the A note. Second finger goes on next to it. Moves up half a step. Now here we're going from a F sharp to a E flat, so your first finger is moving down half a step onto the nut. And then we're moving from there to a C natural. And here we're moving the second finger down half a step and up again. So that's the only tricky bit in that line. Let me play that again and with the backing. regards the vibrato for this, if you have such a thing at your disposal, then do the slow wide vibrato. I first heard this played by Mark O'Connor when he did lots of waltzes, and it's a wonderful sound. It's one I've never mastered, I have to admit, but for that really creamy sound, that is the vibrato that you want. But if you haven't got it, don't worry about it. Okay, now I browsed the internet as I always do for fiddle versions, and no one seemed to have done a really decent version of harmonizing this on the fiddle, so I've had a go. So we're starting off with a on the E string with a F sharp under it, so up to the third from there. That's where we're starting. And then keeping the two fingers both on, slide down to first position. And the distance between them has to decrease as you're coming down. Open D with a B above it. A little flick of the second and first finger. And that, so there we've got a C natural on the second finger with a third finger next to it, touching it, playing an F sharp. And then C sharp with the second finger, E below it with the first finger. Okay. Staying in first position this time, an A with a C sharp under it, open E with a C sharp below it, and a little flick of a B below it. C sharp next with a F natural above it. That's a F sharp first finger with a D below it. Okay. C natural with your second finger with an A above it. Now here's a deliberate discord, which is an B at the bottom with an A above it. So the B is staying on for 3 notes. You play an F sharp on the E string, hold it whilst you put a D sharp down. And this is a F sharp with a D natural below it. C sharp with an E above it. Up to third position again. Now this is a new one. This is F sharp with a D sharp above it, below it. 4/3, 2/1, 3/2. So quite a lot of stuff to work on there. Let's go through it all slowly and then we'll do it with the backing. If there are some parts of this that are just too hard, then simply simplify them. Never let a tricky bit stop you from playing the tune, and never play the tune with a bit that you always get wrong. So always simplify if you need to. And whatever the challenge is in that particular bar, practice it and learn it as a separate thing. So it may be you can play all of this tune after 10 minutes, apart from one bar, and that one bar might take you 10 weeks, but it's worth spending those 10 weeks and eventually reunite the tune with that tricky bar. That's my approach. Let's have the whole thing again, and this time with the backing. And as I promised, you'll be humming and singing this tune to yourself, and hopefully not to anyone else for the next several weeks. Hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a copy of the sheet music for both the simple and the complex version, do subscribe to the channel and send me an email. All of my PDFs are available on my Patreon page, and if you join at the upper two levels, then you can also get hold of the backing track and other backing tracks as well. I've done over 400 PDFs now, and they're all available on my Patreon page. I'll play you out with 3 times round, including a solo.